Welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. I hope you all are having a great summer. It's been a busy summer of music here. Interesting because it's different things going on as far as people are traveling more and sort of getting out and having a lot more experiential type stuff. But we're still selling a lot of records, and I think that's a good, healthy place to be. Had a nice conversation with a couple of 18-year-olds the other day who were sort of talking about why collecting physical media was so important to them. And it just sort of came up in conversation at the register, and they were saying, we kind of felt a little bit like we were a lost generation in the sense that we didn't have anything to really define us, who we are, except for these plastic metal phones and devices that are also transient and get thrown away and can be easily deleted, as we've just seen with the entire history of MTV News, which is owned by Paramount, I believe, and just wiped out the entire web access to that stuff with a click of a couple of buttons, probably. So, it was interesting to hear them say why it's important to them. And I would tend to agree that, we all sort of have certain things and eras that kind of define us. And it's unfortunate that it became such a cold thing with the whole streaming situation. So I think it's good to at least have a balance. I mean, you can't just get rid of streaming entirely because it's sort of informational, educational, but to rely on that solely is a little bit cold. So anyway, here we go. This week's new releases. I got a lot for June 28th. 2024. We're getting close to 200 videos here, folks, so crazy. Anyway, who would have thought that when I started these? So the big new release, there's a few big new releases this week, actually. The first big one would be the new Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats, and this is the new album South of Here. And it's kind of an interesting record. I just heard some of it. It's sort of kind of light rock, southern rock, a little bit of Beatles influence at times. Anyway, this is a record store exclusive for indies on iridescent green vinyl. And it's fusing his emotional storytelling with the R&B revival sound that has propelled them to global fame. There's a fair amount of R&B in here too. I think it's interesting how they did this. This is sort of a cutout photo, reminiscent of an old Polaroid or something like that. So, and this is the kind of thing that used to be very common. You get tons of these Polaroids from summer scenes and whatever. So, very deserty looking. So anyway, new Nathaniel Rateliff this week. Another sort of big new release this week, although this is more archival, is Neil Young and Crazy Horse. And this is their record, Early Days, DAZE. And what this is it's 10 rare and unreleased versions from 1970 for the first time on vinyl. Includes an exclusive poster, limited edition clear vinyl. And this is also features Danny Whitten, Billy Talbot, Ralph Molina, and Jack Nietzsche. And, I think a lot of people who are into early Neil might be interested in this because some of his early versions are not necessarily songs that when we heard the final recording, they might have been completely different, somewhat different. So, I mean, this features some songs that but different versions. Dance, 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 Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown, Winter Long, Everybody's Alone, Wonderin', Cinnamon Girl, Look at all the Things, Helpless, Birds, and Down by the River. So early versions, I think 1969. So quite early. All right, and okay, this is a sort of another sort of controversial release because not because she can't do country, I think she can. But Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. This album came out on vinyl like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and it was this is more of a book kind of version cover. It was a 2 LP set, as this is as well, I believe, but this actually has well, this might be, yeah, it's 2 LPs. This actually has the songs that were left off the other version. So there were like 5 or 6 that didn't make the cut on the other one, including Yaya. So that is on this. However, this one is about $20 more, something like that. It's over $60. So this has got the cool her riding side saddle on the horse cover. The other one has her with the sort of braids, looking more sort of more like, I don't know, native type person, right? With the little sash around her. So anyway, this has a sash too, but it's a little bit more rodeo looking. All right. It is kind of a nice little box book thing though. So anyway, if you're a Beyonce collector and you need both versions, now you can get them both. And that one, the packaging is a little more consistent, this version, with Renaissance. So if they're being done as a trio, then that's sort of like makes sense. But it is a lot more expensive than Renaissance was. So I guess because she's Beyonce, right? And another box setty thing we get this week, Yes, Fragile. This is the new Yes box set. Last year they did the Yes album. This is Stephen Wilson mix, 1 LP, 4 CDs, and a Blu-ray. So it's one of those combo packs that likes to drive people crazy because vinyl people don't want CDs, CD people don't want vinyl, and there are some people that are fine with both. So anyway, but this is the definitive version of the 1971 Yes classic. I would say arguably one of their most popular, if not their most popular, big selling albums. New remaster of the original album, new Stephen Wilson remixes, vocal and instrumental, rare and unissued, outtakes, early versions, single edits, previously unreleased live tracks from the 1972 Fragile tour, new Dolby Atmos 5.1 and high-res stereo mixes by Stephen Wilson, includes Roundabout, Long Distance Runaround, and Heart of the Sunrise. So I don't know, you can see there's a track listing. You may have to pause and blow that up, but all right. So that's sort of a big deal this week. Another really interesting record coming out this week, I think. Johnny Cash, songwriter, and people are like, but he's been dead for a long time. Yes, he's been gone. This is the independent retail exclusive. This album, so it's, I think, black and white vinyl, but this album was recorded in 1993, and it was before he worked with Rick Rubin. So these were songs that he sort of worked on, and then they sort of put it aside and said, oh, he's going to do this American series instead of cover songs. So these are original songs, but what they did was they stripped out the back of the instrumentation and kind of redid it with more modern players that could kind of give it that more earthy quality that would go more along with what Rick Rubin had been doing with him. So this features, actually, Spotlight features Dan Auerbach on electric guitar. So could be something interesting to take note of, Johnny Cash fans. All right. So a few other new releases we get this week, new albums. Hiatus, Coyote. I think I said that right. This is the album Love Heart Cheat Code, new album, and this is on special, what color is this? Blue and white marbled vinyl, an indie exclusive. They're kind of like a jazz fusion, rock, funk, soul, a lot of different influences, and I think the album cover sort of probably depicts a little bit of what they're going for here, but it's kind of very like artistic in a way. So check that out if you like Hiatus Coyote. New album from Washed Out. It's been a long time since Washed Out released a record. This one is called Notes from a Quiet Life. And this is cool too. It's also got these sort of cutout squares, all different colors. And this is the loser edition from Sub Pop. Thank you, Sub Pop, for giving the indie stores the loser editions. That doesn't sound right, but they are the better editions as far as like the color vinyl. This is the first pressing uncolored vinyl. So they didn't stick us with just black, which they were doing for a while. So very, very nice. Thank you, thank you. Okay, and it looks like there's like 8 songs on here, something like that. I don't know. But new Washed Out. If you like sort of like dreamy, kind of summery, I wouldn't quite call it shoegaze. It's a little more electronic than that, but kind of summery pop. But it's mellow pop, and it's not like super high radio pop or anything like that. It's no like it's none of that. Okay. Aaron Frasier, Into the Blue. And Aaron, drummer, usually with Duran Jones, I believe, is who he plays with. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Trying to remember which band he plays. Oh, yeah, he is. Duran Jones and Indications. It says he weaves the past and the present, sweet soul, disco, gospel, and hip-hop into a thrilling, wholly new type of classic. Limited edition, frosted Coke bottle clear. I've heard some of his stuff. It's very good. It's very retro. And he's talented. And it's interesting how he's the drummer in that band, and then he's got this whole solo career going too, which just proves Dave Grohl that just because you're like the drummer doesn't mean you have to be stuck behind the kit and never open your mouth. So good for him. Let's see. New Guided by Voices. It's been a little while for them, I guess, but they usually put out 2 to 3 albums a year. This is Strut of Kings is the name of this one. So Robert Pollard just continuing the journey. Quite a career of recordings. Got to be getting close to 100 albums now, if not more. And another band that is really interesting that hasn't put out a record in a while. I want to say it's been over 10 years. The Dirty Three. And this is the band that features Warren Ellis, who is in the Bad Seeds with Nick Cave now. It's called Love Changes Everything. Haven't heard anything from it yet, so every time I hear a Dirty Three record, I guess it's sort of a surprise. I like it that way. I don't know. I guess one time I should probably discuss like what you guys think about that. I really anymore. I don't like necessarily go. If I hear a song from a new album, I might listen to one just to kind of get an indication of where the artist is going with the songs. But I tend to I definitely don't listen to the whole thing. I don't really want to like spoil the surprise, It's kind of like it takes all the wind out of it if you hear too much of an album beforehand. So, I don't know, it'd be interesting to hear what you think about that in the comments. New Madeline Peru album, Let's Walk. Madeline has had quite a career. New Orleans based. I seem to remember during, what was it? One of the hurricanes that she was like, they couldn't find her for a while. I don't know. She's definitely like does her own thing and independent, even though she's been signed to major labels before. And anyway, this is called Let's Walk, the most personal and eclectic collection of original songs from acclaimed vocalist singer Madeline Peru, exclusive translucent cobalt vinyl. So it's basically a nice blue color. All right. New Imagine Dragons record this week, and this one's called Loom, and this is a special indie store edition cover apparently. So it's been a little while for Imagine Dragons too, maybe like 3-4 years. So yeah, they have their fans. They had like a huge explosion at the beginning of their career, and Now they're just kind of like, they've got their core base. So, um, Animal Collective, and this is a new reissue of Merriweather Post Pavilion, arguably their most popular record, probably their biggest seller, I would guess. And this is the 15th anniversary edition, translucent green and bluish double vinyl, reflective foil mirrored gatefold jacket, comes with a download card. I assume that people who are interested in that would probably have heard that by now, so you know what to expect. And another sort of interesting reissue, King Crimson, and this is their album USA. This is actually a live record that King Crimson did back in 1974. Is it 74? 74, Asbury Park, New Jersey, Asbury Park, New Jersey, concert, mixed and produced by Robert Fripp, David Singleton, and Tony Arnold. This is a 2 LP set of the complete show, limited edition 50th anniversary, blue colored 200 gram LP. So get your King Crimson live. There are a lot of reissues again this week. Summer seems to be reissue time. Cher, Living Proof. So it's a very techno-pop album, and not like that's a bad thing, because obviously she had a big hit with Believe. Believe was the album that came out right before this, and this album took the sound of the Believe single and just ran with it. The Believe album, I feel like that song was really great, and there were a couple really good songs, but overall it was like more hit and miss kind of. The other songs were not quite up to stand. This album is great all the way through. If you like Believe, there really aren't any weak tracks on this record. It didn't have as many big hits as that album did. Song for the Lonely was the song that they pushed in the US, and the first single in the UK was The Music's No Good Without You, which was a top 10 hit there. And then this also has a different kind of love song. This is limited edition, pressed on cola bottle green vinyl. And yeah, and it ends with the song When the Money's Gone, which is one of her greatest like high energy songs. It's definitely it's kind of miles away from If I Could Turn Back Time, but it's a great song. And also this has like Real Love, which is her kind of really embracing the Daft Punk sound and lots of that auto-tune stuff. So if you're not into auto-tune, maybe that album's not for you. Another one that sort of she kind of did later that has a fair amount of auto-tune is Closer to the Truth. And great album cover. I mean, she really embraced the blonde on these last couple of record covers. And well, let's see. I think Living Proof, what year was that? That would have been early 2000s. Let's see. 2001 for this one. All right. And then this one, much later, I think like 2008, maybe. Try and find the date here. God, these are so small, the writing here. I don't see it actually. I want to say it's like 2008, maybe something around that era. But yeah, this one had the hits Woman's World, which was kind of a modest hit, and I Hope You Find It, and it's got bonus tracks too, Pride and You Haven't Seen the Last of Me. Limited edition. This is pressed on bone color vinyl. So, all right. So if you're Cher fans, those records were, I don't know if they were even made on vinyl originally. So, and another great record from the past that sometimes it's easy to forget these things, and this album was super popular when it was out. Linda Ronstadt featuring Aaron Neville, and the album Cry Like a Rainstorm, Howl Like the Wind. This came out, this is going to date me, about the time that I started working in record stores. And this album, I worked with a woman who, the store manager, played this album non-stop. And I heard it so many times. But, you know, I haven't seen it really for a long time. I mean, CDs it sold, but this is a reissue on translucent blue vinyl. It includes the Grammy award-winning songs I Don't Know Much and All My Life. Lacquers cut by Stephen Marsh and pressed at RTI, and it is on a, like I said, translucent blue vinyl. I think Linda Ronstadt holds a fairly special place in a lot of people's hearts because what she's going through, and she is such an incredible singer, really one of the best singers of her generation. So great voice. Okay. The Round Robin Monopoly. So this is a jazz dispensary title, shifting gears this week to something a little different. And so this is on the Jazz Dispensary, and it's a long out of print funk soul trip. 50th anniversary, originally released on, this is printed so small too, on the Stax imprint Truth Records. I need readers for my readers. Lacquers cut from the original master tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. So if you like funk, soul, jazz, fusion, looks awesome. I haven't heard it. Be interested to hear that. Same thing with this, the John Wright Trio, and this one's called Southside Soul Prestige. This is part of the OJC Original Jazz Classics series that have been coming out, some of the best sounding remastered records. It's a shame that the Obi sort of covers up part of his face. I don't think that was planned too well, but you know, they wanted to put these Obies on here. And then it's like, well, where else do you put it? Let's see. What does it say here? Lacquers cut by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. So this one was not done by the protege, but Kevin Gray did this. All right. Jazz fans, you have a few things this week, or a couple things. Johnny Hodges. So a couple weeks ago, we got Duke Ellington with Johnny Hodges on the Verve Acoustic Sound series. And this time we get Johnny Hodges by himself, well, with his orchestra. And the album's called Blues Aplenty. Love the cover. I think it's great. And this is mastered from the original analog tapes, pressed at QRP on 180 gram vinyl. They do a great job. One of the best labels out there as far as pressings go. Let's see, when was this done originally? Again, tiny print, 1958. It's a great picture of Johnny Hodges right there with his sax. Side 2 only has 3 tracks. Side 1 has 6. So I'm guessing side A are shorter tracks. And anyway, it's him with his orchestra. Keeping with reissues here. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do that one or this one. I'll do this one since it's in my hand. The Lost Boys soundtrack. And this is on Friday Music, I believe. Yep. So it's color vinyl. They're not going to tell you what color because they don't put any stickers on their stuff. I think it might be red. But this actually features the INXS and Jimmy Barnes single, Good Times, which was actually a top 30, top 40 hit. Might have been a top 10 hit. I don't remember. It was fairly popular. Fun movie about teenage vampires. Kiefer Sutherland, I remember being in this. Corey Feldman, the Coreys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, Jamie Gertz, Diane Weiss, Jason Patrick. I don't know, it was a fun 80s movie. Let's see, other people on the soundtrack: Lou Gramm, Roger Daltrey, Echo and the Bunnymen. Sort of all over the place, really, but it's a fun soundtrack. Takes you sort of back to that time. There's another INXS and Jimmy Barnes song on here, Laying Down the Law, and it does have Echo and the Bunnymen's cover of People Are Strange. Another sort of callback reissue, The Specials, More Specials. This was the follow-up, I believe, to the big album. The Breakthrough. This one has Stereotypes, Do Nothing, International Jet Set, I Can't Stand It, R.I.P. Terry Hall. Yeah. What a cool guy. Missed. Daniel Johnston, a reissue of his album Fun, indie rock classic. This is arguably his finest moment, says All Music, 4 stars, 30th anniversary pressing on Aqua vinyl. Aqua. Daniel, very unique artist. This actually features Regina Carter on violin on a track, which is pretty interesting. She ended up being kind of a jazz star in her own right. Folk Implosion, more indie stuff from the past. This is Lou Barlow and John Davis, their first new album in 25 years. So this is new Folk Implosion stuff. Did I say reissue? This is new. On white vinyl. Let's see. Well, it says produced by Scott Salter. It's been a while. 25 years since a Folk Implosion album. Had no idea it was that long. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, continuing with stuff here. There's so much. Mountain Goats, The Coroner's Gambit. This is a long sought after album by fans, finally back in print, and features new liner notes by John Darnielle, released on the precipice of their breakout albums All Hail West Texas and Tallahassee. It's an introspective epic that stands as one of his best outings of any era. So if you like Mountain Goats, I think this is out on CD too. Another one, this is an interesting one, Red Cross. And this is it's a self-titled double LP featuring 18 brand new Red Cross instant classics. So new, produced by John Klinghoffer. Red Cross is one of the most important bands of the last 40 years, says Thurston Moore. And their first ever double LP, jam-packed with 18 masterfully crafted, genre-defying paranormal bangers. This is the record that will forever cement Red Cross's place in the rock and roll pantheon, says Dan Epstein, musical journalist. It's on In the Red Records. There you go. 18 songs. So what, you get new Red Cross and new Folk Implosion? What year is this again? 2024? Amazing. Some more reissues. I'm sort of all out of order today. Sorry. Chick Corea 2. This is the Electric Band 2. Sorry. And this is his album Paint the World. This is pressed on 2 LPs, cut by Bernie Grunman. First time on vinyl, restored with the rare track Final Frontier. New liner notes. So first time on vinyl, and I think some of these were excerpted from, there was a vinyl box set that came out recently that had a bunch of double Chick Corea vinyl in it. So I think that they must be doing them one at a time now. But if you have the box, you've got them, I assume. This is very cool. James Brown at Studio 54. This is never before released on vinyl until now. Includes all the Godfather of Soul blockbuster hits on red translucent vinyl. One pressing worldwide. That's the color vinyl. This is on Culture Factory Records, which usually do a pretty good job. This is recorded at Studio 54, New York City, March 26, 1980. Get Up Off of That Thing, Gonna Have a Funky Good Time, Body Heat, Get Up, Sex Machine, Try Me, The Payback, It's a Man's World, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, bunch more tracks, Please Please Please, and It's Too Funky in here. So hey, James Brown fans, wake up. Lee Perry, this is another cool one Culture Factory just did on translucent yellow vinyl. Vinyl has been out of print and unavailable until now. Innovator of dub music, classic reggae. Enter the Dragon, or Heart of the Dragon is the name of this album. Heart of the Dragon. Enter the Dragon, theme from Hong Kong. Heart of the Dragon, Hold Them Kung Fu. Flames of the Dragon, Scorching Iron. You get the idea. Augustus Pablo plays melodica on it. Probably seen some of his records around too. Let's see. Lightnin' Hopkins, live from the Ash Grove. And this is rare unreleased performances pressed on translucent blue vinyl. I think this might be an indie store exclusive. I'm not sure. But yeah, Couldn't Be Satisfied, Questionnaire Blues, Ain't It Crazy, Don't the Moon Look Pretty. Yeah, Black Cadillac. If you're in the blues, another jazz reissue too. Kind of random. Hank Mobley with Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan. And this is on the Sewing Records label, which I think they basically are sort of pressing these blue notes kind of on the down low, because it's got like all of the sort of blue note artwork. I'm not sure. This says limited clear vinyl. Yeah. It also features Horace Silver on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Charlie Persip on drums. This looks early, like mid 1950, 56 maybe. So early stuff. If you're into country, there's a couple of Alan Jackson reissues this week. Don't Rock the Jukebox and What I Do. And both of these albums sold like in the millions when they came out on CD. I think Don't Rock the Jukebox was a pretty popular song. This one has the song If French Fries Were Fat Free. So anyway, get some Alan Jackson. They need to pay a little more attention to country on vinyl, because there is a lot. A lot has been released, but there's a whole, just like with rock, there's whole eras of country that were sort of ignored on vinyl. And now that people have record players, Los Campesinos, this is Six Scenes, a reissue of this album on limited pink Cornetto Effect vinyl. Cornetto Effect. Yeah, they've got a new record coming out very soon, so I think they're just sort of reissuing some things here and there. And then there's a few things here that came out last week that, or a little earlier, that we sort of either didn't have for the video last time. The Story So Far, I Want to Disappear. This is the indie store exclusive. This is on Coke Bottle Clear vinyl. I think they only made 1,500 of these, so when I sell it, I don't know if I'll be able to get it back. Daryl Hall's new album, D. And I haven't heard this yet. I want to hear it, but always a fan of Daryl's voice and his music. He's a very good musician. Great singer. Avril Lavigne's greatest hits. So if you're kind of a casual Avril fan and you don't want, they just reissued all of her albums, I think, all the maybe the first 5 or 6. But this is actually a double vinyl greatest hits. Features Skater Boy, Girlfriend, What the Hell, Complicated, Don't Tell Me, I'm a Mess, He Wasn't, Losing Grip, My Happy Ending, Bite Me. Those are the first record. Then you get I'm With You, When You're Gone, Nobody's Home. Yeah, it's got most of her hits, I think, at least the ones that I remember. So she was great for pop punk, or is great. She's still around. This is a record that I sort of missed a couple weeks ago, or it came in late. I want to say it right. L'Imperatrice, and kind of a French thing. They sound a little bit like a more organic Daft Punk, but more vocals, French vocals, and then Maggie Rogers does a guest vocal on here, because apparently she was in some restaurant and heard them playing or something and was like, oh my gosh, they are great, I want to sing on their album. So she does the song anyway. So if you're into Maggie Rogers, check that out. and The Gossip. We had their other album, Standing in the Way of Control, and then this other early one, That's Not What I Heard. Kill Rockstars put this out again on red apple color vinyl. This is really early Gossip, so Beth looks pretty raw, rough around the edges there, and these guys were definitely like pretty punk when they started. So, and then they got a little more sort of like mainstream as things happen. And then this album I'm completely missed last fall because it was credited to this other artist, and then come to find out he's out on tour, he's doing this other character. So I just want to show that we actually did get this in at some point. But Joe Jackson as Max Champion, or Max Champion Presents What a Racket. And it's sort of like music hall type music. It sounds like sort of Artful Dodger. You mix a little bit of like Charles Dickens type era in with ringmaster type, very sneery kind of cockney type accents, with sort of like this music hall, a circus type music, really, very old timey kind of stuff. Lots of great arrangements, though, I have to say. But anyway, so he's out on tour. So if you go see him, as one of my customers did, and you're like, wait a second, what's this character he's playing? Could be a little bit of a shock. All right, and then I've got some. I also wanted to show this. This was another thing that we kind of missed, and then it showed up, and I was like, oh, I need this. Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. This is the Blu-ray edition of the new remastered cut of the movie. Jonathan Demme filmed it, and it's newly restored. It has a Dolby Atmos mix in there. There's actually like several different mixes of this, and a little documentary, and it's a nice box. It's not cheap, but it's they did a really good job with that. And it's a classic, so it deserves that kind of treatment. And then there's some CDs that came in this week. We finally got the Black Country Communion CD in. This is the one with Joe Bonamassa, Glenn Hughes. So that's on CD. New album from Fastball. And I think this is available on vinyl too. So if you're into sort of 90s rock and you want to go back and get that, I don't know if we've gotten the vinyl yet, but the CD came in. New album from Lupe Fiasco called Samurai, and this is actually kind of a mini album. There's like 8 tracks, so I don't know how long it is, but he's kind of embraced that whole anime type look there. The Feliz Brothers, Valley of Abandoned Songs. I don't know if these are leftover songs for Feliz Brothers, or if this is a new album, or an album where they took songs that they thought they'd never use and then put them out. But anyway, new Feliz Brothers. I think that's available on vinyl. Fabulous Thunderbirds, still at it, back at it. A new album. I'm guessing that, I don't know if Jimmy Vaughn is part of this, I'm guessing. It says featuring Billy Gibbons, featuring Bonnie Raitt, Keb Mo, Taj Mahal, Mick Fleetwood, Elvin Bishop. So if you're into Fabulous Thunderbirds, check that out. It's called Struck Down. Medium Build, and an album, Country. And this is a new record on Island Records. And I haven't heard anything about it, but supposedly it's kind of a mix of genres. I was listening to the other day the new Strand of Oaks, and I really like it. But it's definitely a mix of genres. It's got a lot more synthesizer and keyboard on it, but I think he uses it in interesting ways. Chris Squire and Steve Hackett's Squack It, a reissue of that. This is sort of a deluxe 2-disc CD and a Blu-ray, 5.1 surround mix by Roger King. Can, live in Aston, 1977, continuing with the Can live reissue series. Todd Rundgren, Liars Live. Todd Rundgren has they've been putting out a bunch of live stuff for him on Cleopatra lately, and this is one more. Looks like that was an interesting show because of the outfits that they were wearing. They all look sort of like chess pieces or something. Characters. And then Residents, Demons Dance Alone. And this is a 3-disc set from the Residents, and it is includes unreleased versions and demos, live tracks, and more. So there's a lot of Residents archival material there. And then I was gonna do a recommends corner today. I think I'll save it for next time. I'm already at 40 minutes, guys. So a lot of new releases again. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have a happy 4th of July. So next week, you're not going to get a video from me, most likely. If you do, it'll be a pretty short one because we have a family thing, and the store will be closed for a few days. So I just want you to know about that. Please don't come in because it'll be dark. On that sense, there are some new things coming out next week, and so those things we'll have them the Tuesday that we reopen on the 9th. And is there anything else I needed to tell you about that? I don't think so, but thank everyone for being so supportive of the store, and I really, really cannot thank you enough. I've said that before, but I do mean it from the bottom of my heart. And have a wonderful week or two, and enjoy 4th of July if you're in the U.S. And if you're not in the U.S., enjoy some downtime and take a minute and commune with nature for a minute. All right. Thanks. Peace. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great week. Hasta la vista.